Ladies and gentlemen, today I want us to talk about the teachers' strike looming that is expected to be taking off on the 26th of this month, um, just on the same day that we are expecting our children back to school after the August holidays. You know, it is very saddening to most parents with school-going children. And I believe that although there could be a section of them who actually sympathize with what the teachers are going through, now that the collective bargaining agreement has not been kept by the government, because we are actually we have parents who are as well teachers, and it is a very difficult situation whereby you know teachers who are at the same time our parents have to contend with difficulties in running their affairs based on the salaries that they have been complaining about. But as much as this is true, and as much as I sympathize with this predicament, I would want to point out something very, very important here. That Kenyans of all walks of life will now need to embrace, owing to the circumstances that our economy is in. I will repeat again here that I sympathize with those teachers who are parents and who have a difficult time because the salaries that they anticipate they should be receiving have not been coming their way, and they feel that they deserve a pay rise, which is all as a matter of um, practice. Actually, every person who is employed will at some point need or ask for a pay increase. But I wish to look at this issue from a different angle. You know, when we ask for pay rise, it is based on certain factors. One of them, and which is key to pay rise, is the rising cost of living. But this is felt by everyone across the board. Now, the unfortunate thing here is that our government has failed to lead by example. Time and again, I have spoken about people having had to make sacrifices for their country. I have made several publications insisting that President Ruto leads by example, and what I have been pointing out to is the need for the government to embrace austerity measures. And it is very, very sad that from the word go, this is what should have been happening. Unfortunately, that is not what the government of President Ruto was ready to adopt. I want to take you back to a statement that was made just a few hours after it was evident that Ruto had won the 2022 presidential elections. It said this. It first came from his deputy, that they were inheriting a dilapidated economy. Now, from those words, a prudent economist does one or two or three things, or several of them actually, to see to it that from takeoff, things run in the most efficient way and at the least cost. So, for the deputy and the president to have confirmed that they were inheriting a dilapidated economy, what I would have anticipated from them was to first make it public that no political office holder was to receive any salary until an audit was done to establish the actual state of our economy and whether what was available was enough to sustain it at the level that the outgoing had tried or had survived in. Now, I want to give an example in real life situations. I want you to imagine that you have inherited a business that had been declared to have gone under. Now, you do not come in and start by determining how much your pay should be before you have actually ran an audit, and two, before giving time when that business takes off to evaluate how much it is able to pay you. But what did we see the government do? They went into the same usual expenditure, like we are living in a very able economy. As a hustler government, as it had called itself, that is the first indicator that pointed in the direction of failure. And definitely, that was proven with the Gen Z revolting and rejecting the finance bill and insisting that this government must go home. Now, coming back now to the teachers, and not just the teachers, because we've also had the members of the KMPDU going on strike. due to pay hikes, insisting that their salaries need review in an upward direction. Now, the 2024 finance bill was rejected and stands rejected. And not just the 2024 finance bill, but the 2023 finance bill was as well nullified by the High Court of Kenya. So we are living in hard times. We are living in those times when everybody is expected to make some form of sacrifice, and especially those in leadership positions. We cannot have our members of parliament, our political office holders of all cadre, enjoying heavy pay packs and speaking about having to live within our means. We cannot have these leaders earning the same salaries, yet when the finance bill went down, we saw the president send home his entire cabinet based on the grounds that they had misinformed him and had not performed well enough to avert what crisis followed. Now, that being the case, it indicates that that set of cabinet secretaries were not good enough, going by the words that they had not performed, in quotes, to make sure and to satisfy the office of the president and the government in general vis-a-vis the rejected finance bill. Now we have a new set of leaders, cabinet secretaries, amongst them those who were in the previous cabinet positions. And these leaders are not just ordinary people. The lowest in wealth was this young man whose net worth was about 32 million Kenya shillings. The rest are way above. Isn't it really time that the government led by example, so that we can now have a system whereby all other ministries can have that spirit to accommodate the austerity measures that range from not having to have a higher pay to those others that will minimize government spending. I mean, how does the teachers who are demanding that the CBA be honored expect the government to meet that need? How? The government will come out claiming that it does not have enough resources, and this will now lead to a protracted battle like we observed with the KMT, where for about or over 50 days, no services were being offered in public hospitals. Now, we are looking at a similar situation whereby our students and learners may have to stay home because there will be no learning going on in schools. What are we actually doing by this, if not breaking ourselves? But then again, who has failed to lead by example? It is President Ruto, nonetheless. It is he who should be in the forefront, foregoing his salary and other luxuries that are enjoyed by that office as an example of what needs to be done to save the country. If that is not about to happen, I don't see how else we are going to run a stable economy without resources, or with some receiving, a pay that is felt by many to be exorbitant, to be high or on the higher side. What we really need to have is leadership that is based on patriotism. If we do not have patriotic leadership, if we do not have patriotic leaders in our public offices, then we are not heading anywhere, and it now comes, to look like we have one group of people who intend to exploit another group of people and who happen to be the majority, and create the picture or a situation where these people who are not as well financially able, working under servitude conditions. We are not building an economy. We are breaking it. We are destroying it. And I'm sending this message out to President Ruto that he needs to take a leading role if he aims to create some semblance of sanity in our economy. Without that, it shall be running here and there, up and down, without no particular abode. And it will be very, very unfortunate and very, very bad if we'll have to go through his 5-year term without having achieved some form of economic stability. My word to the teachers: please, you don't need to go on strike. I think the best option would be to join the Gen Z movement and support them in the general overhaul that the Gen Z are looking for. Asking for a pay will not be of any good, because it will leave more of us as a country suffering than actually benefiting. And then at the same time, we are going to be punishing our learners whose future is much more in the process of developing, and which should be developing, by denying them that opportunity to school. I request you teachers to call off your strike, and better still, call that strike off and support the Gen Z in their endeavor to bring some form of overhaul in the Kenyan economy and the Kenya political arena. That way we shall be building a better future and a better Kenya for all. Thank you.